I'm assuming because you're listening to me, you're tapping into me as that resource. Don't let other authors, teachers, influencers come in, because I'm going to be very, very disruptive to that. The number one reason why I do that is the number one, draw a crowd. It's like starting a fire. People can't turn away from a fire. They can't turn away from a train wreck or a car accident. You really don't take pleasure in seeing bad things happen to other people, but you just can't help it. You got to look. And I have used those things to garner a crowd. Well, you don't want to do that with your own trading. You don't want to do that with your own development, because what you're going to do is you're going to invite other people's opinion. Where when I market myself for free, never paid for it, I invite the opinions of others. And I make it polarizing, because it makes other people talk. And there's no faster viral marketing campaign than you can have is if you can make something divisive. That's why pro wrestling, the scripted stuff, that's why it was so popular for so long. It's all scripted, and it's manipulation of the audience. But if I can encourage you as a student to try to remove that stuff from your learning and your studying, to other people that might sound cultish. And I can see that, and I use that, I embrace that, because that perspective eliminates the ability for outside influences to mess you up, because you have to discover who you are. I've had students come to me, go through all the things that I put them through, and they say, you know what? This doesn't suit me. I don't think I should be a trader. And that's maturity. It doesn't mean that the stuff that they were learning doesn't work. It just means that they weren't trading at all. They just can't do it. And why put themselves through it? So I want to kind of like invite that opportunity for all of you, because trading is absolutely not for everyone. There's going to be some things that you're going to encounter while you're trading, while you're learning to trade. When you lose money, you don't know what that feels like until it happens. And all the coping skills that I'm going to teach at the end of this Twitter space may not be enough to get you through it and past it. You might just say, you know what, this doesn't feel right for me. And if it happens to be you that feels that way, you know what? Put it aside for a little while, maybe 6 months. And if you feel the urge to come back to it, maybe not with me, but someone else teaching, if they can prove that they have something that works and they have other people that have learned what it is they taught and they're proving profitability and consistency, there's nothing wrong with going to someone else that teaches you how to do investing or trading or reading price action or whatever you want to call it. But if you're going to come to me, I encourage rather aggressively that you need to cut all other sources of information off. Because in my group, we're known as very, very confident, pompous, egotistical, narcissistic. These are all descriptive terms, because when my students learn what it is that I teach, that part of my persona rubs off on them, because they can do things that they see other people incapable of doing. When everybody else is out there trying to talk other individuals down, our community talks each other up. That's important. That's a characteristic that nobody likes to spend too much focus on, because it counters most of everything that's going to be negative that you're going to encounter as a student of mine. You're going to feel like, wow, man, this is a cult. I don't want anybody thinking bad about me. You're not going to meet these people. You're not going to have dinner with them. You're not going to invite them over to Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas. You're not going to celebrate the New Year, drinking champagne with them at the turn of the New Year. But you're elevating their sense of worth and impact and influence over you through fear. And what are you fearful of? How other people are going to look at you. How other people are going to be able to judge you on the basis of who you learned from, what you believe and don't believe about a market algorithm. They're all talking points, and every side and every angle believes that they are the right side. So how can you imagine the impact of frustrating, conflicting input from other people's opinion in the beginning when you first start learning? It causes paralysis. It causes you to feel like, am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my time? My question is did the people you see on YouTube proving that they're being profitable, that the companies that pay them out, that are interviewing them, you think they just gave that money to them for free? I don't have any affiliates with anybody. None. So it serves me and them no direct gain by making it public knowledge that the people that they paid out in their profitable trades are my students. So we have receipts, and there's new individuals coming forward all the time using the same information that you have at your fingertips for free. I have created an environment. You always see these guys advertising. They'll say, this is a no risk opportunity, but act now, because if you don't do it, there's no telling how long I'm going to keep this for free or have this discount or something that I do it. There's no telling how long I'm going to keep this. You should feel relaxed. I'm not getting paid here. This is why I'm doing this here too, because I'm not monetized on X or Twitter. I don't have any monetization on there at all. Zero. To be honest with you, I don't even know how to do it if I wanted to do it. And I don't want to do it. I could put this in a G-rated narrative on my YouTube channel and collect ad revenue off of that. But I want to talk to you like a friend. I want to talk to you through the perspective of a father figure, because I'm talking to Caleb. Because I want him to understand that these are going to be huge wrestling matches for him. Just like they're going to be for you. And for some of you, you're going to discover that, wow, I went through that and I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was just being, incapable of learning. No, it's just very hard to do, folks, because you're wrestling yourself. You're competing with an image of yourself that you're holding on to. And unfortunately, in the beginning, it's a self-defeating image. You're holding on to a weak, closed-minded, narrow-minded, scared little child. And I don't mean that to be condescending. You're trying to protect the inner child of yourself from losing money, from being embarrassed. Oh, these people said that they learned from ICT, they're cultists, they're brainwashed, they're whatever. The list is going on and on, okay? If you're considering all those things as outside influences, all you have to do is test the stuff I'm teaching for free. All you have to do is sign up to a live stream when I'm doing it and listen to me explain what Price is doing. And then you think to yourself, wow, there's something here. Like, I can see this guy knows what he's talking about, and the market's behaving as he's describing it. Those are the things you're supposed to be focusing on. The evidence, the proof. Don't let my public antics for my own pleasure, because I love twisting the knife in other people that don't want to believe, or they deep down inside they believe, but they can't compete with us. They can't even compete. It's not even close. But I'm not here to ridicule them. I want them to listen to the same lectures that I'm giving to all of you. And if they can take something away from that helps them, then that's great. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to kick anybody in the face. I'm not trying to put my boot on their neck, strangle their ability to be profitable or climb up as a pillar in the industry. That's not what I'm doing. If you don't guard your fortress of solitude, that means your physical location where you study. That means your family members can't be in the room with you. If you have children, God bless them, they can't be in the room with you. Your spouse, whether being supportive or not, and chances are they're probably not going to be supportive. They don't believe yet in your future self. The things that you have to go through to refine your future self, that future success that you want to have, but you don't really necessarily believe it yet, you got to be convinced of it. And so many times, individuals in the last, 5 or 10 years, they have this TikTok mentality. It has to be shown to you in 10 seconds, 30 seconds or less, or I ain't interested. And this is the part where if you're not willing to put yourself through what it is I'm describing, or if you look at those videos I have up there, 500 and some videos, and you think, man, I ain't got time for 500 videos. How many football games have you watched since you started watching them? How many basketball games have you watched since you started watching them? Has your attendance in the audience, seeing those games live, has that made any impact on you being able to play football or basketball any better? No. So why are you watching it? Why are you paying all that money to support these people who don't know you? They don't care about you. They simply will never spend time with you. And to get them to stop to get an autograph or a snapshot is asking too much many times. But you're willing to put yourself through all that stuff because it gives you what? A feel-good moment. Wow, this is awesome. Because you idolize these people. You idolize them. You lift them up. They're titans. And men want to be a titan. Don't lie. You're smiling right now because you know damn well that's the truth. You want to be a big shot. You want to be a big wheel. Someone everybody looks up to and says, man, I want to be like him. You have to have that same tenacity and driven passion in why you're trying to learn how to trade and put yourself in a fortress of solitude where you're not inviting other people. Don't let them influence it. And from an intellectual stance, your fortress of solitude is your journal. That's where you go to lick your wounds when you don't do something right. But you don't go there and treat it like it's a house of pain, like it's an abusive relationship. And so many of you have shared some of your journal entries to me while talking about a price action move. And while maybe your technical thing might be there and it may be correct and it just didn't work out for that moment or that time or that instance, the negative annotations, the negative things that are spoken about what you're trying to teach yourself, what do you think is more appropriate for that inner child that's inside you right now that you're nurturing that will be your future self? What's more nurturing? If you're constantly beating that inner child down with negative, not encouragement, but punishment. You should have did this better. I should have learned this by now. This stuff never works. I don't know why I can't get this. This is so stupid. I need something easier. If you spoke to your child that way, do you think that child would grow up feeling good about themselves? Or would they have complexes and probably deep-rooted anger and anxiety? And you wonder why you're feeling those things. Because you're feeding it to yourself every day. You don't even realize it. You have no idea how often you give yourself something toxic and negative. And that's why when you watch something positive, you're like, wow, I really enjoyed that moment. Or if you see someone you haven't seen in a long time, an old friend or loved one, that's why holidays, except for Carl, gets invited to the festivities. He wasn't supposed to be there, but some joker invited him. It's bad enough you got to work with him all the time, but now he's showing up at New Year's Eve. It was fun until he showed up. Then you're doing everything you can to avoid him. Well, at the holidays, you feel good. Why? Because your attention's taken off of all the negative things about yourself, and then what do? Yeah, well, I got a raise today. Yeah, last week got a promotion at the job. That's right. I don't know how they're going to do it without me. Whenever I decide to leave the company, oh, they're so screwed. You get to talk about all the good stuff, and you hide all that stuff. That's exactly what proper journaling is. You need to do that. You need to cultivate all the positives. And that's why it feels good to be around your cousin who hasn't left Jiffy Lube. He's been doing that for 12 years. Says he's going to college and never even done prerequisites. Never did anything but get greased. You have to guard yourself. And the processes that you're going to go through is a refinement. And it's painful because it's not immediate gratification. It's not a right now delivery of what you want. It has to be deferred. And for a lot of folks, and it's really hard for young people today. And I understand because they have been socially engineered to expect everything given to them. Everything should be given to you for nothing and no adversity. It should be easy. And you have this entitlement mindset and a short attention span that's been cultivated by TikTok or YouTube shorts that are very small in duration. And you think, man, why is this guy ICT got to be so long-winded? Because I am a old man that learned how to do this the right way. Roll your sleeves up, put real effort behind it, keep your nose to the grind, and want all the details. You want to know everything. You don't just want to know, well, I want to look like I know what I'm talking about. I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. And for years, we've watched other people do that with my content. Mitigation here. Here, you see this order block was mitigated. Order blocks don't get mitigated. Mitigation this and mitigation that. They want to talk the lingo. The point of interest. Look at this point of interest. These are all out of my videos, bro. That's all my stuff. The vocabulary of all these individuals out there that have odds against me are going to have odds against you. But they're studying right along with you, like good little scribes. They're just doing it in silence, thinking they're going to get away with it. But as soon as they start talking, the vocabulary exposes them. It's fun, actually. It's a really amazing psychological experiment to go through all of the mentors, and you'll see. You'll see it annotated in their charts, or you'll hear them say it verbally, audibly. They're in the same classroom as you right now. And they may not be here where you can see them because you can do a little anonymous slide. They're all listening anonymously. But I know you're here. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm not trying to poke fun at you. Because you're going to learn things that you can teach my students through you, because they're not your students, they're mine. And I care about them more than you do. And since I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to use you as a conduit to reach them. The worst thing you can do is twist what I'm teaching today, or anything that I teach, and take it out of context or try to embellish it with your own little bullshit. Because you're reducing its purest form, and you're muddying up. This DNA in trading logic is superior. Anything less than this is substandard. We don't have Neanderthal in this, okay? It's always important to start off on the right foot. It's always a bad decision to invite other people's opinion about everything you're involving yourself with in the beginning. We want our friends and our family to encourage us. Why? The same reason why I did as a 20-year-old. I lost my grandfather. I lost that father figure. He wouldn't have lavished me, would say, oh, son, you're going to do so good. I can't wait to see it. He wouldn't have done that. He's an old man, old Navy man. He would have been like, just do your best. I said, okay, I'm going to live up to that. I'm going to live up to that, Pop. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do everything I can to make this man acknowledge that I have impressed him. So when it was taken from me when he died of cancer, I had a void. And I've carried it in my entire life. At 52 years old, I still can't fill that void. And God fills it a lot. But there's still this little itch that I can't satisfy because I can't see his face. Look at me. And you have that same experience when you first start to do something that's monumental. Feet. You want to accomplish something. You want to lose weight. You want to get in better shape. And what do? We turn to our spouse, our significant other, our friends, and our family members. Yeah, I think I'm going to start this program. Oh, you don't bother, man. Don't waste your time. That's the first thing that's coming out of their mouth. And if they're not spurting it out, they're thinking it. You can watch it in their face. They're thinking, yeah, well, we'll see. we're going to see, buddy. We're going to see. But that's not what you want. You don't want that. You want them to say, you know what? That is awesome. You know what? Could you tell me a little bit about that? Because I would like to do that too. That's the response you're looking for. That's the response. You want people to get excited about what you're interested in, but you're not excited about it, but you absolutely fucking gotta be excited. Like you gotta love it. You gotta look at yourself and say, you know what? Right now I don't have it. I don't have it right now, but damn it, I'm gonna get it. And every one of you yahoos that I'm related to has nothing to do with holding me back. You're all going to watch it happen. You're all going to choke on it. All of you that sat back and sit there and said, well, you know, Shelly said she's going to be a trader. Yeah, she's going to be trading, all right. Trading her time for money like we do. But in the beginning, that stuff cuts deep. It cuts deep. But you'll put on your best face like I was trying to do it as a 20-year-old. That doesn't bother me. But it crushed me inside. It crushed me. And I didn't take that as I'm going to do it more carefully to make sure I don't fail. The opposite happened. The opposite happened. I dug deep and said, I don't give a shit how many times I fall on my face. I'm going to do it faster, and I'm going to take bigger risks, and I'm going to do it in a stunning manner that absolutely has nothing to do with why I started, because now I got to do it about impressing these people. I got to impress my family, who they weren't even a factor in the beginning. They didn't tell me to, hey, start trading this way. And then I got to make them proud of me. That's not how it happened. My uncle introduced the idea of the trading, but he didn't teach me trading because he didn't know how to trade. And I wasn't interested the first time. I was young. I was a martial artist. I was a young teenager. I was like, man, I ain't got time for this. I got martial arts and girls. Get out of here with that, man. Stock market. I ain't trying to invest. What the hell's that? And to be honest with you, I really wasn't working then. So the concept of money was alien to me. I was actually very content and complacent being white trash, because that's exactly how I was raised. If you look at how I live today and how I raised my family and how I was raised, I was the epitome of white trash. I grew up in a neighborhood that was trash with people that were uneducated. The highest graduating average mean was 6th grade. My mother quit school in 6th grade. The only person in my family prior to me that were blood relatives that ever graduated was my aunt. Think about that. That's the pedigree I come from. Yeah. I'm as blue collar as you can get, baby. And I have the same problems that you're going to invite. If you're not careful, you're going to invite all of the opinions of other people that don't fucking matter. You're leaning on these people to encourage you. They didn't give you the idea. They didn't give you the first spark. The whole point of you even considering it, it never stemmed from them. So why on earth would you invite them to give you their opinion when they're working for money, in debt, paycheck to paycheck, hating fucking life, and looking for any exit ramp to get out of the relationship because they hate the person they're married to or living with? And these are the people you're going to on social media too. The worst part is you're not even fucking related to these people. You're not even related to them. You willfully go in there and say, hey, what do you think about this? Who gives a fuck what they think? Who gives a fuck what these people that don't do well or better than you, who gives a shit what they think? And when you take a step back and you think about it like this, you know what? Why the hell am I doing that? Right, that's the question I'm asking. Why are all of you doing that? Because you're hoping, just like I did as a 20-year-old, that everything I was putting myself through or aspiring to be successful in, that my own family, you would think, right? My own family would be like, you know what? Michael, out of everybody in our family, if anybody was ever going to do well in this, it's you, buddy. I can see you doing it. Like, I can literally see you up there doing everything you're claiming you're going to learn how to be able to do. I can see that. That's exciting. Can I learn that too? That's what I wanted to hear. If I would have heard that, I probably would have done so much better in the beginning. I wouldn't have taken ridiculous fucking risks and blew my accounts because I'm trying to show them they're wrong. And the only thing I was doing was proving they were right. Think about it. You're doing the same stuff. Mostly the men. Women might be closeted because they still want to talk to their girlfriends. They want to talk to their closest cousin Okay. Like my wife, she has a cousin. They say that they were like twins when they were younger. I don't see it because I would have never messed around with the other girl. But that's another discussion another time. But she pals around with her and has conversation more than anybody else in the family. Okay. And women tend to have a very close, they may have a lot of girlfriends, but they have this little clique. That's their pride. Okay. And if you are trying to learn how to trade, or if you just discovered that that's what you want to try to pursue, or maybe you've been doing it, chances are they know what you're trying to do or what you've begun. And anybody else, you don't share your business with them. You keep it personal. You still messed up. You still messed up. Because now, one of two things are going to happen. One, they're going to ask you, hey, how's that trading going? And you want to be able to say, girlfriend, let me just tell you, I got funded. I got paid out 6 fucking times. I got these new shoes. Look at this shit. Earl didn't buy these motherfuckers. I did. I bought that shit. I bought that. I passed my fund account channel. Bang. 5 accounts linked up. Bang. Look at me, baby. Look at me. Don't you want to be like this? You want to be able to say that. But you're still going through the process of wrestling through the things that you wrestle through. You believe that that day's coming, but you can't give it to them when they ask for a progress report. And that hurts. That hurts because you want to be able to say to your girlfriends, this is what I've done so far. And a true friend, girlfriends, would be like, damn, girl. Wow, I didn't think you'd be that quick with it. But a true friend would hear you say, it's harder than I thought it was going to be, but I'm not discouraged. I see progress. And I know if I keep working at it, I'm going to get what I'm looking for. And a true friend would be like, you know what? That's right, girl. You keep on. And that's what you want to hear. If you have a friend like that, man, you got a real friend. I didn't have friends like that. I had, man, I'll believe when I see it. My wife, still living the way she lives. If I tell her I'm going to do this, and she's like, I'll believe when I see it. I'm like, woman, are you crazy? Did you just see what I just did? Look what you just spent. Where the hell that come from, right? But I'm sure she means it to be funny and silly all the time, but that's just that's the way we work together. Okay, that's our language with one another. She ribs me and I peacock around. But you're not going to get that encouragement you're looking for on social media. I promise you. You might get it in our community here if you hang around like-minded individuals, which is always called a cult. Okay, call it a cult because this is the cult of winning. I make winners. Now, everyone coming into this cult of winning isn't going to make it to be a winner because they're going to tap out. They're going to feel these struggles, these wrestling matches internally. They're going to feel it and be like, man, this isn't worth this, man. I thought it was going to be easy and fast. I can't get time for this. What's my boys doing right now? Let's go. We got to go to the club. I need to get drunk. I need to get blazed up. What are you doing? You're medicating. You're self-medicating. That's exactly what you do in your journal. It's self-love there. You tell yourself all the time. Encourage yourself. You write down in those journal entries everything that you want someone else that you love or care about the opinion of. You want them to say those things. You're waiting for it. You're listening. You just know that those words are hanging on their tongue and they're going to say it. Well done. Good job. Wow, I'm impressed by that. That's what you want. You want to talk that talk in your journal. You want to be so positive that it's fucking ooey gooey love. Okay, that's what you want. Because nothing negative will have any impact, and you don't even write anything negative. You encourage yourself constantly, all the time. That journal needs to be something beyond the scope of a Mead spiral notebook. It needs to be something that you have worth and value associated with. That's why my journals, they're anywhere between $80 to $100 a piece. Now, you might not have the money to be able to do that right now, but that's okay. But you need to think about what you're writing in That's not some scrapbook where people just jot down things like, okay, well, I got to remember to do this and do that. Or where your kid can pick it up every now and then and draw and scribble on. What do you do? How do you keep your journal? Where do you keep it at? Do you have any regard for what you're writing down? Because if they're not treasures to you, if you're not making monuments to your progress, and it sounds narcissistic when we talk like that, doesn't it? To someone that doesn't journal, I don't journal. That's a fucking clown talking like that. That's somebody that is literally planning to fail or never being successful. And there's a lot of people in this industry that are idiots, and they're monetized and they're rewarded, but not for the basis of the ability to trade. They're monetized and rewarded for capturing and holding your attention to their bullshit. Who are they? What are they producing? What fruit are they producing? Who's coming behind them, listening to their logic and saying, well, that worked for me. Look at me. I don't work anymore. I did what this goober's saying. It's very little of that going on. Very little of that. Here, we have those receipts. We have those people. We have them both in female and in male. We have them in older people and younger people. We have them in teenagers that haven't even got to 21 yet. And we have people in their 60s reporting that they're so thankful that they were given this opportunity. And it's a tearjerker for me when I hear things like that, because I look around and it's expensive as a fuck right now. It's so expensive. And I got lots of money and I still look at this grocery bill and I'm like, how the hell are people making it? Like, how are you all doing it? Leave comments if you feel open to do so. It's a struggle. And until you decide to make changes and refine your future self, you got to filter out all the negative stuff. That doesn't mean you can't acknowledge, like I just did here, saying, man, it's expensive. Acknowledge that. That needs to inspire your willingness to stick to it, because you think it's just going to get cheaper. Do you honestly think things are going to be cheaper 2 years from now? No, they're not. When has ever been a time where inflation has impacted the things that we buy? And it causes shrinkflation and the amount of the product reduced in size, but they sell it for the same or if not more money. When has that ever happened? I remember as a kid, candy bars used to be 3 times the size that they're at. Not now. I never imagined looking at the things I spent money on, and people spend the majority of their money on junk food. Like, that's stupid waste of money. Are you doing those things too? Are you buying poor substances and calling it and lying to yourself and saying it's food? You're going to have a physiological response to the things you take in and ingest. If you're eating junk food and fast food all the time, you're drinking caffeinated drinks. I don't need a caffeine drink. I can be hopped up in a minute, just like that. I can talk myself up, bang, real high. But as you'll learn later in this Twitter space, you'll be able to talk yourself down like a Buddhist monk. Come down cold, cool, collected in minutes. And that's how you have to operate. You have to look at things in a manner where everything outside of you has no impact or influence over you. But are you doing the opposite right now? Have you been doing the opposite of that? Have you been using social media as a drug dealer, looking for that feel-good buzz from ICT? Because if that's what you're doing it wrong. Yeah, you heard that right. You're doing it wrong. Social media is a cancer. And the worst thing you can do is live on it. Elevating people to celebrity status, godlike personas. They want worship. And some of you want to worship. Some of you all want to be worshipers. Why? Why would you do that? There's only one deserving of that. And it ain't me. And it ain't nobody else on social media either. So how do you discover what your problems are? Well, what do you focus on all day long? And how do you act when you're in stressful pressure situations? If you find yourself in a stressful situation, that need not be in trading, and you react in a manner that is aggressive, in anger and outburst, chances are you're a very impulsive person. That means given the opportunity to invest or trade with money, whether it be funded account, demo account, whatever, you're going to impulsively do something. Because inside you are a conquering warrior. That's how you internalize yourself. You see yourself as someone going out there like a gladiator. You challenging me? Bro, you challenging me? Step! That's the typical male response. Admittedly, that's how I am. I was not that way when I was a young man. Growing up, I had to hold that at bay because I knew if I let it out one time, it would just go wild. And it did for a little while. And I did things I'm not proud of. But what happens if you're in a stressful situation and you clam up? You paralyze yourself. You're like, I don't want to do anything. And you break down. You may cry. You may have anxiety. You may freeze up and lock up and just completely shut down. In trading, that's going to be someone that never takes the step forward. You'll never trade. And you have to have a comfort of saying, you know what? The outcome might not be what I want it to be. Every trade starts that way. And you have to invite the opportunity for that to be wrong. Hear what I just said there? Whereas everyone that puts a trade on now, they want, I hope it works. But I'm afraid it's probably going to stop me out. Man, and listen to the YouTubers that live stream. Listen closely. And the ones that show their face, I'm so thankful for because they're wonderful case studies for you. Watch their whole demeanor change as the market spends more time close to their entry point. See, my trades, what I'm teaching you to do is you're going to be entering in the market where the market leaves your entry soon. It doesn't spend time around it a lot. And the surest thing you can do in the beginning while you're learning how to trade and reading the tape is notice that when you think, okay, the market should go up or should go down here. If it doesn't immediately start to respond that way, chances are you're probably wrong. Would you have the willingness to kill that trade, eat the commission cost and whatever underneath the spread or any small little drawdown? Would you be willing to take that? Or are you the person that's going to say, even if I'm wrong, I'd still like to be able to get my stop to break even? You're worried about money. You're worried about not losing money. You're worried about being perfect. You're worried about never taking a loss. And that is going to invite the very thing happening. You don't understand that right now. Hearing it sounds like that can't be true. But that's exactly what it is. If you're afraid to make money because you're afraid of losing money, you're never going to make it as a trader. Because every trade that you open up is a losing trade that you have to trade your way out of. You're underneath the commission cost as soon as you put the trade in. Boom, you have whatever that cost is, the spread. You have to overcome that if you're trading in the Forex market. Commission costs with your broker. And then it's got to climb up enough to cover those costs. And how much does it need to do that before you can put your stop to break even? And just because it's going to break even, just static price action and redelivery is going to stop you out if you try to chase too fast. So the stop loss is too tight. Unless you know things, the things I'm teaching for free. So when you're journaling and you're observing old price moves, or maybe it's something you watch in a live stream, and you see me discussing something, and maybe you're at odds with, okay, he just said he thinks it's going to do this. Okay, maybe everything I'm saying in live streams, you're saying, I don't think that's going to happen. What does that indicate to you? Well, I can tell you what you're really trying to do is you're looking for an opportunity to go on social media and say, look, I guarantee you, there's thousands of people out there. They're all young men, no kids. They're all, or service sellers and course sellers. They're out there with their little demo accounts and they're trying to do the opposite so they can go on social media. Look, ICT said this and look, here's the trade I just took. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. But if you're not doing that for that purpose there, just to get clout online, what are you doing it for? Why do you feel that? Everything I'm saying in a live stream that most of the time is coming true, but why are you doubting it? Is that you being unteachable? No. I had a student of mine that was always trading against me, named Troy. I ain't gonna say his last name, but he knows if he's listening. Everything I taught, he was doing the opposite of. And then he would send me emails. He would complain and say, I don't know why it's not working. I'm pissed off. He used to be a poker player, did real well doing that. And he thought that it would be easy to walk right into trading. And I tried to explain to him, I said, listen, your superpower is that you're contrarian. There's a place for contrarians in trading. That's turtle soup trades, false breakouts, not trend following. So if you go into the marketplace looking for things like that as your opportunity, that's your model, that's your whole structure and approach to attacking price action as a man, because you're a gladiator. You see what I just did there? I maxed up personality, school of thought, the way they internalize things, and the thing that is a weakness, I turned it into a strength. That's a mentor. That's someone that knows what the fuck they're talking about and creates winners. That's someone that has done this many, many times and has failed. And those failures did not hold me down. I learned from them. And you're all out there trying to learn from these 20-year-olds that are just parroting what I'm saying. And they don't have the life experience with it. They have never made serious money. They've never lost serious money. They never went through the problems of finding it. This thing, I'm going to dig in deep. I'm going through a period where everything isn't working and I need to figure out what I'm supposed to do with no other encouragement. Right now, there's social media. You look around, you'll find someone to blow smoke up your ass. You will. You'll find it. But if you're not fixing the root causes, these triggering things that you keep repeating, that you don't identify are problematic issues, I call them character flaws. I have them. As a teacher, as a mentor, it would be foolish for me to tell you, I don't have any problems. I don't have any issues. Of fucking course I do. I'm human. I'm absolutely human. I wish I would have held on to the trades longer. I wish I would have had more on. I wish I would have cut off more of the trade before it turned around on me. Come on. I got no problem telling you those things. That's the reality of it. But I also know when to dial in when this shit's going to be good. Allah. Friday the 13th. That seems like it was a pretty fucking lucky day around here, wasn't it? Cookout was amazing. I can't wait for another one. Invite me again. Yeah, how about that? But you have to go through the process of seeing how you feel when you're watching price action. Do you turn it into a love story? Like, oh man, this is perfect. This is love at first sight. This fair value gap, I saw it. I walked in, there it was. The Eurodollar sitting right there in the New York Hill Zone. She was fine. Look at that. Girl, turn around. Let me see what you got in the back. Oh my goodness. I'm in there. Tap. You're in that fair value gap. It's starting to run. You covered the dealing spread. Your stop loss. You're tucking up behind there a little bit behind that fair value gap low. And you're like, man, it's a romance now. It's going to run up there to my TP. I can't stand when people say TP. You know, I hear TP, I think toilet paper. And I guess it's not far stretched because most of these fucking people out there that are trying to teach people how to trade, their fucking trades are trash. They're shit. So TP makes fucking perfect sense. It's a take profit or that's your target. TP. Like you can't say the fucking word TP. That's the equivalent of somebody on the fucking road that can't even flick their little turn signal. It's right there next to your fucking hand, you lazy ass. Just click it. Let everybody know what the hell you're doing. Protect the car you're driving. Protect your personal property. And there are other people's personal property. I'm like a dog. I see a squirrel. What? Squirrel. It's easy for me to come off of. These are all the things I usually delete out of a pre-recorded lecture. But here, you get all the fun carnival atmosphere. But how do you feel when you're watching price action? Are you at odds with the final boss? You're in a video game and it's like, I only got one life left. This is it. I'm on it. And I got to win this one or it's game over. I have to reset. You're putting too much emphasis on the outcome. So you need to observe what you're trying to talk yourself away from that's toxic when you're journaling. Don't record them with the toxicity. What do I mean by that? If you're watching price action, you're not demoing, you're not doing funded account challenges, you're not trading with a funded account, you're not trading with a little bit of money because I got to learn how to real money. We're going to talk about that again. You're just simply watching the tape. You're watching price action fluctuate, and you're trying to get a feel for what makes you feel like the market's going to behave a certain way. And you record that. At what minute marker do you see that happen? And describe what it is. If you don't have the ability to just, shorthand it, in other words, a couple keywords that's going to help you remember what you were feeling at that time, record yourself audibly. At this minute marker right here, I'm watching pound dollar. At this minute marker right now, I'm watching crude oil. At this minute marker right now, I'm watching S&P. I'm watching NASDAQ. And I see this right now and what I expect to see based on my current understanding. I believe that the market's going to behave this way. It's going to go to this buy side or it's going to go to this sell side. And it should not go below this low or above this high before it does that. That's what I believe. And then at that moment, you say how confident. Describe your confidence in that happening. Even if you don't feel extremely confident about it, just say, I got a hunch that it's probably going to do this, but I'm not all that convinced yet. You need to be aware of that. At the end of that experiment, that study, which I'm going to put you through this week, I'm going to outline how you can go in and do drills over and over and over all day long. All day long you can do these things. And you're going to see how to find the right fair value gap because you're going to test every single one of them with me. We're going to be out here. You're invited to have a demo account this week because we're all going to be pushing buttons. I want you to see what it feels like, okay? I want you to see what it feels like to be in something that has a measurement applied to it. Does this work? Does this not work? How fast does it fail? How fast does it work? What do you feel when I promote these certain situations? I'm going to say, look at this. We're going to do this right here. We're going to buy this right here. We're going to sell this right here. Listen to me, and I'm going to say it again in the live streams. Ad nauseum, okay? Do not use it as a signal service. Do not take your funded account challenge or your funded account or your live account and follow these as entries. I am not telling you to do that. Caleb is watching this. You're all watching this. I'm teaching how you get comfortable with not needing to be right. And how, by contrast, like I was describing yesterday in live stream, times that you could be a short seller in a day that I'm primarily bullish in. But see, in the beginning, it's fruitful for you to only focus on the side that a higher time frame bias indicates that it's likely to keep moving in one direction, higher or lower. So if you filter out everything that would be impulsive for you to take a trade on, and it may be going against that higher time bias, it filters out the likelihood, not that all of them would fail, but chances are as a new student trying to do something with money that you can't afford to lose, trying to spend money on funded account challenges that you can't afford to spend yet, not getting the results that you're hoping for, and then that compounds and builds up inside of you. And then you have to wrestle through that like weeds and thorn bushes because the destination you have in front of you of successful trading and consistently profitable, it gets barriers placed in front of it. Thorn bushes, snares, all these booby traps. You're laying that in front because the last time you did this, you got hurt. So you're not getting closer to your objective and your destiny. You're creating barriers because you're doing all the wrong things, not realizing that that's causing an impediment to your progress. Because you think you're going to do something to circumvent the need to go through all the things that are required for you to do it correctly. It's better to do the things I'm telling you to do and avoid the things I say to avoid because you won't have to second guess and think about, did I do it the right way? You'll have very little to go back on once you get there and say, you know what, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Contrast that with, well, I listened to Swaggy. He said go out there and start with real money because I have to learn with real money. That's foolish knowledge. That's not even knowledge. That's misinformation. If you take something from other influencers, and he ain't the only one that's ever said that, but I take odds at that because when you monetize your right or wrong in the beginning because you elevate every transaction, every idea on the basis of right or wrong. I'm not promoting the idea that you need to worry about being right and wrong. These jokers that try to say that stuff, they're literally twisting everything I've ever taught. You don't need to be right. It's not about being right. It's about being profitable. But they'll take my words, twist it around, and act like they come up with something. You remove the necessity about being right. If you remove that, that means there's no emotional tie to it. You have no psychological arm wrestling match now to prove to yourself or anyone else that you're right. You don't need to be right. But you won't identify what those triggering things are inside you that are intrusive thoughts that become materialized and manifested into losing money. And you will not, I guarantee you, you will not, if you do those things and you lose money, you're going to fault me. You're going to fault everybody else you followed in a Discord room or that Telegram channel or that YouTube guy or that person live streaming. I lost all my money. Listen to your ass. And they're going to fault find and they're going to push all the responsibility off themselves. I've seen this happen. I've seen it. But the question is what do you do with all the hundreds of thousands of people that are making money with it? They learned the same thing. What are they doing differently? What did you do? And every time I've asked, they always either exposed themselves or they didn't do the right work. They were not using the things they were taught. Are you teachable? Are you willing to listen? You're here today listening to this. And your mind is the first tool that's responsible for you to make the right steps going forward. And if you allow it to be clouded with fear, anxiety, premature self-worth to high levels of I want to be respected and almost borderline worshipped online, you're doing it wrong. And you need to fix that. You got to do some house cleaning. But when you're journaling, you need to discover what that root catalyst was that caused you the uncertainty about an idea when you were watching price. Or what gave you superhuman level confidence. What was those triggering factors? And if it's a negative, you have to say, for instance, let's say like this. Say you're watching a NASDAQ and you're tape reading and you're doing the drills that I'm going to teach you guys this week. And you get into one and you don't really feel confident that it's going to behave like you would like to see it behave, but you still do the exercise and you press the demo and you want to watch how long it takes you to get stopped out or run to the target. But as soon as you press the button, you feel regret. Like I should have waited. What that's going to do is, number one, you're doing it with a demo. But if you feel that, and it may only happen for a second internally, what that's highlighting is, even on a demo where nobody else can see it, you feel the pressure of having it correct. Now you have an opportunity. So many times you're hiding that stuff, the things that you have to sweep up and clean up in your head. All these intrusive thoughts, all these hindering spirits that are keeping you from finding the success you're looking for, you're letting them live with you. You're making the bed for them. You're feeding them constantly, 3 meals in a cot every single day. You're feeding these intrusive thoughts, these demons. They're going to hold you back. You're allowing them to live rent-free in your life, consuming all of your productivity, all of your progress. It's stealing your future success. Like a vampire, it's sucking the life marrow out of you. You don't even realize it. But when you journal, it puts a microscope right over top of that. And you're in that fortress of solitude. You're not going to talk about these things with me. You're not going to talk about it with the people online. It's safe. It's safe for you to do this. It's a controlled environment. Nothing bad can happen. It's only upside. It's only upside doing these things. And it makes you better as a person. It will make you better as a trader. And it'll help you wrestle fear of missing out, greed, over trading, over leveraging. All those things are corrected with a journal. And you wonder why these same influencers online have to keep resetting their funded account challenges, and they keep blowing up. They're dancing around, carrying on entertaining you, but they keep blowing up. And you ask them, do you journal? No. Come on, man. And you're wondering why they're constantly having to publicly reset. They got to constantly keep doing that. And if they just would listen, put their pride aside and just listen, because this is good medicine, folks. This is good medicine. No one successful in trading falls into it by accident. It's an earned skill set. And it will not ever be easy for anyone. Even if you listen to everything I'm telling you to do, which in my opinion is the correct way of doing it. Not because it's mine, because it's rooted in pure psychology. Sound logic. When you remove the sugary sweet, I got to do it fast, and you already owe it to me last week, and you better give it to me in a 5-minute video, or I'm not interested. I'm not going to follow you. I say, if you have the time to sit down and write that, like, you owe us this, you owe us that, or I'm not going to, don't follow me. I'm not going to change my lifestyle because you didn't follow me or you don't support me or like me. I don't give a shit about that. None of you people matter that much to me. Okay? That's the truth. None of you matter that much to me. But why waste the opportunity when someone like myself is willing to teach you for free, and when I've done it with other people, and the things that they do are all linked to the things I'm telling you here today. You have to journal. Don't hide from your character flaws. You do it in your journal, discover what they are, and you find that by how you feel. When you're doing these exercises, do you feel like, okay, I'm going to make this is what he told me I should reach for, and I target that, but I'm going to do this. What's that tell you? You're trying to stretch the boundaries because you're competitive. You're fucking competitive, right? Okay. You want to race Volt with a fucking leg cast on? Because that's exactly what you're trying to say you're going to do. Yeah, I'm going to run this faster than a guy that's done world records. So you have a superiority complex, which is what most of the influencers online have against me. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that I can do this all the time, every single day. They don't like it because it casts a very large shadow on them. I'm talking to them here too. I'm not talking down to them. I'm talking to them as a peer. Hey, you're in the same industry I am. I'm not a giant. I'm not somebody that should be worshipped or looked up to. I don't like when people do that to me. But these people want that. If they listen to me like I'm trying to teach you to do it, they will be better traders, better mentors, and they will be pillars in the industry that deserve recognition. Because right now, they don't deserve it. They don't. All of them have the capability of getting there. And some of you probably aspire to be like that. Listen to me, because you'll do it far better. You'll do it without drama marketing, because that shit doesn't work. That never works. It just casts a viewpoint that's easily fostered in a large degree of the attendance of onlookers, and they'll immediately make their decision right away. Oh, this guy, he's a lot of drama. Or this woman's got too much shit going on. And you'll never have your voice heard. So when you're developing yourself, you have to take that time and that energy and consider yourself worth it. A lot of you think, well, I ain't got time for journaling. What you're saying is you're not fucking worth the time and the investment in identifying how you can improve yourself and put yourself on the highest degree of performance. That's really what you're saying when you say, I do not want to journal. I don't want to do that. I don't want to put a progress of measuring my progress in black and white in front of me where I can look at where my progress started and where I'm at today. That's how you know you can do it, because you see the things that you're learning. See, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget it. If you don't write it down, you're never going to remember it and revisit it. If someone, after you were long gone, finds your journal, are they going to read the diary of a madman that was so abusive to themselves? Or, wow, this person was very encouraging to themselves. And I can see that they have identified their progress. See, you all want to see trade statistics. Bro, show me your MyFX book. Bro, show me that you got on the leaderboard on the funded account challenge or whatever it is. I can't think of the, I don't know how they work, but I know TopStat has a leaderboard. I don't know if the other companies do. Get on the Robbins Cup or we don't believe you. Okay? This is a litmus test for idiots. It is. It really is. Because what you're saying is you have to see somebody else show you something. And let's be honest. If everything's shown to that type of person, they're still not going to do anything. They're just going to be mad and huff and puff and just go and try to troll somebody else. So it's not that they want to be inspired to learn how to do what you're learning how to do. They're just in here to try to find some kind of talking point. But you do very similar things in the beginning if you're not guarded. You want the opinions of others to support you and encourage you. Why should anybody that's not a part of this community think now? If they're not already a part of this group here, why would you expect them to encourage you? That's insanity. You're asking someone on the outside to have the same perspective or a higher opinion of what you're trying to do and learn than you do yourself. And then you're weighing the delivery of that opinion being favorable for you as a basis for you to continue. Going up to a blind man and say, hey, which flower here is prettier? Is it this one here in my right hand, or which one is it? Is it the left hand or the right hand? Which one's prettier? How the fuck does he know? And that's exactly what you're doing with everybody else. You're saying, hey, look, what do you think? The only thing they got to go on is everybody else's opinion. And if it's a positive, you're a cultist. You're all brainwashed. You're not seeing me call price. You're not seeing me execute. You're not seeing those things. You're not seeing other students making real money with it. You're not seeing that. They ignore that. So how can you take their opinion as balanced? But you're still asking the ether. You're tossing it out there on social media. Hey, what do you think about ICT's concept of this and that and the other thing? If they're a little dick energy guy, they're going to say, oh yeah, he lifted. I got this one. 90% of everything ICT teaches, he got it from somebody else. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for somebody to come out and say, here's exactly where ICT got order blocks from, and the mean threshold, and institutional order flow entry drill, and all the things I teach. It's a long list of shit. It never happens. But because they know that your mentality is wrapped around this 30-second TikTok duration. You have short attention spans. You're wondering why people are stupid today? It's because they've stopped teaching. It's all about feelings. It's about having experiences online. We don't have conversations anymore. You don't sit down and write with a pen and pad a letter or sit down and type out a letter. It's throw it to me in a text, throw it to me in a post on social media, and hey, you're my buddy, you're my friend. That's bullshit. When I talk to you, I care about the audience that's I'm targeting. I'm talking to my children. That's why you listen to me, because you feel this sense of urgency for me to communicate this importance. Because the audience is my own flesh and blood. So I'm not going to shortchange them. I don't give a fuck if Tom, Dick, and Harry's fucking mentorship guy out there says he talks too much. He could have did this and did that. These people that do these 5-minute trainers, they're not doing shit. They're wasting your time. Because the only thing they're doing is creating these very barriers that you don't realize are going to be appearing in front of you. You want it to happen for you fast. Well, guess what happens? When you try to do it and it doesn't happen fast for you, what do you think? Man, I can't do this. When I'm telling you, expect it going in, it's going to be hard. When you come into this, you're all dirt. You're just dirty. You don't have anything that shines. Nothing. You have a desire, but you're still just dirt. There's nothing that shines about you as a trader. But you have to refine that. Go through a process and change that. And then you can mold that. Apply a little bit of sweat. What's that? That's moisture. And you can now take that dirt and shape it into something, mold it like pottery. And you shape that future self after constantly refining it. And it doesn't happen overnight. And I've never said it's going to be a fast process. I said it's going to be a lot of work. Not because it's hard to learn these things. The concepts are straightforward. As I was talking about yesterday on the live stream in the last hour of trading. The people that say it's complicated or I complicate trading, it's not. I actually have created more opportunities to trade. But in the hands of someone that wants to be self-defeating or self-destructive, those tendencies that are inside you that you haven't identified and wrestled them into submission and subduing them, those demons that are in you, if you don't have a way of subduing them, if you weaponize them where they can hurt you financially, they're going to jump on that opportunity every single time. And they're going to leave you demoralized, regretful, and eventually it's going to beat you down and you're going to be in depression. And depression is a physical feeling. It's something, it's not just, I don't feel good about myself, psychologically or emotionally. No, you feel depression. It's painful. And if you live in it long enough, it'll affect your health. You develop anxiety. You develop all these physical symptoms that you think that are emergencies when they're not. They're just physiological responses to things that our body has been created to give us. Sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Everybody's equipped with this. But the way you regulate these two nervous systems that's in everybody's body, the anatomic nervous system is, everybody has it. We don't think about breathing. It just happens, right? Have you ever had a moment, my wife said this to me about a month ago. She goes, I'm not sure how to describe this to you, but I feel like I forgot how to breathe. Because I've had anxiety before, I have perfect understanding of what she means. And maybe that probably struck a chord with some of you that are listening, where all of a sudden you think to yourself, I got to breathe more. I have to breathe faster and I have to breathe deeper. Nothing has changed. There's no immediate threat in the room with you. No one has jump scared you. No one's come out and tried to grab you and pull you into a van, teach you how to trade. These whole things of spontaneous anxiety, they may start off mildly like feeling like I can't catch my breath. Something's going on. If I don't consciously think about breathing, I feel like I'm going to stop. And what happens if I stop breathing? I'm probably going to die. And if this happens right before you go to sleep, guess what you're not doing? Sleep. So if you have problems with sleep, I don't have problems with sleep. Okay, when I talk about my sleep schedule, I have doctors tell me, you need to have 8 hours of sleep. Bullshit. You don't need 8 hours of sleep. When I was a working man, I needed 9 hours of sleep. I needed that because I want to maintain your attention. That's what this is. It's all about making sure that you don't fall asleep. Because it's real easy to fall asleep listening to me because it's not about making money right now. But it is about making money. You can't make money consistently until you master yourself. Until you subdue these intrusive thoughts, until you subdue these demons that you're wrestling with that you have made house guests. You turn a blind eye, oh yeah, it's fucking Joe. He doesn't have a job. Always sits around, plays fucking Xbox all day long, eats up everything, doesn't buy anything, never takes a fucking bath. He stinks the whole house all up. But, he's now part of the furniture here. He's a staple here in the house. So I don't like to interact with them, but I know they're there. I can't do anything to get him out. I don't want to kick him out. He's a loved one. He's a family member. That's what you've done with these demons, these things that you hold on to. You guard them. You protect them. Instead of saying, get the fuck out of here, you don't belong here. You have no more business here. You're not holding me back no more. You're not a problem for me. Fuck out. Replace it with something positive. I'm scared to take a trade. Why? Why are you afraid to take a trade? Because you have no model. You don't have a model because you had this demon constantly telling you, that's not going to work. Don't even bother putting any time into this. You're going to sit here and look back and I wasted 3 months if you get that far into it. And you're going to half-ass it when you say you're journaling. You're going to scribble a couple fucking words, draw a little diagram of something, draw, Swing high or swing low, and draw a line on it and say, that's an order block. Look, I did the journal. Look at this. This guy's a liar. Bro, I have people that have showed their journals to me, and they're like the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's volumes of shit. That's somebody that's going to do so much in the industry. It's crazy. Like, that's exactly the high end of what I'm encouraging from all of you. You don't need to be that far with it, but you have to record your progress. You have to record that. Otherwise, how can you reasonably comfort yourself when you feel like you want to quit? What do you have to hang your hat on when you feel like you don't want to do it anymore because you had a week of drawdown? What happens when you blow your account? What happens when you lose your funded account? What happens when you can't pass that funded account challenge and you don't have the money to spend on it again until the next paycheck? And then you got to wait. And you're thinking to yourself, maybe if I don't pay Netflix, maybe if I get rid of this and I get rid of that. Well, that's probably a good thing if you did that, because watching TV is bullshit. I don't watch TV. I have old shows on Blu-ray. If I want to watch a movie, chances are it's probably something old, because they don't have all that woke bullshit in it. But I watch very little of any entertainment stuff. I watched the Deadpool movie in the theater with my sons, and that was it. That's the most recent thing. I don't like to go to theaters anymore. To me, it's a terrible waste. I have a theater in my house. I don't need to go there and sit in something that's dirty, be around people on their cell phones and talking bullshit. I can do all that stuff in my own house. I have a nicer theater in my home. If you don't have the progress report that you have encouraged yourself along the way and acknowledging where what you're learning didn't work in your hands that day, and then you say, I'm glad I had the opportunity to see this fail, because now I can go in and discover more about what it is I didn't know at the time when I took this idea. You see that? Is that something that you as a child, if you watch your child try to do something, try to learn how to ride a bike, you took the training wheels off, you've been walking with them holding the seat, and now you want to let go, and you tell them, Timmy, Daddy's got you. But I know if I let go for a minute, you'll be fine. Trust it. Just keep pedaling. And you let go. And what happens if they panic and they fall down? Are you going to scold him? No. You're going to get him up, brush his knees off, his hands off, and say, hey, look, you know what? You did good just doing that right there. And you're not dead. You're not bleeding out. You didn't break a bone. But now let's get back on here and do it again. And they may fuss and say, I'm afraid. But what are you going to do? You're going to encourage them. That's what you do with yourself in your journal. You have to be a good parent in your journal. You are refining your future self. If you don't care about yourself, if you don't really love yourself, you're going to discover that in journaling. That's why these social media influencers are so fucking toxic, because they hate themselves. They are not where they want to be at, and they are looking to outside influences, their audience members, to worship them and lift them up on a pedestal, because they need that. They need that more than they need money. I don't need that, and I don't encourage it, and I don't need fucking money. And I'm teaching for free. I'm spending my Saturday morning with y'all. I'm hanging out with you on a non-monetized medium, just talking, trying to encourage some friends of mine. That's all I'm trying to do here. But I bet you probably never thought about things like this. And that should be encouraging to you, because chances are you were probably thinking about it differently and much more toxic. And the metrics of measuring what your expectations were and what you're willing to put yourself through are far out of spec based on what I just said here. Isn't this a whole lot more comforting? If you approach your learning this way, would you not agree that yes, it takes some time to sit down and journal those things? If you don't want to do that, number one, it's shining a huge spotlight on the fact that you don't care enough about yourself and your future success to even consider it. But you're probably the same person that can entertain the idea of going to college. You probably were willing, unless you got a scholarship or your parents paid for your college, you took on student debt that you can't write off, just like taxes. I mean, you can't escape it. But you were willing to go through the process of putting yourself into long-term debt on something you were not even assured was going to be a profitable venture for you. Yeah, I want to be a marine biologist. Yeah, I want to be a psychologist. I want to study philosophy. Why the fuck do people go to college to get a degree in philosophy? I don't understand that. You read the Bible, read some, well maintained texts, and you're going to get a better understanding of philosophy than you would from these bullshit indoctrination centers. But you're willing to put yourself through that 4 years or longer if you're going for a higher degree, PhD, master, something to that effect, to get to the degree of what I'm showing you with technical science. You want to get a PhD in technical science through ICT, the College of ICT, the School of Hard Fucking Knocks, because that's what this is. We don't have campus fucking parties. We don't have keg parties. We don't throw TP over the fucking trees and get drunk. We take it serious around here. We are, if trading had colleges, I'm the Ivy fucking League of it. Okay, that's just the way it is. I produce winners. I produce people that give a fuck about themselves. And when they learn how to do this, their esteem is really high. Their self-worth, extremely high. And to weaker people around them, it seems like narcissism. It seems like arrogance. And that's just you reflecting your own insignificance because you beat yourself down. You let other people do that. They're holding you back. You're holding yourself back because you think toxic thoughts all the time. When I was going through agoraphobia in 2001, 2002, 2003, it was all based on the 9/11 attack. Like I was terrified. I had people that were not just me. I don't think I would have had this happen to me if I didn't have a wife and kid. If I didn't have that, I think I would have been like, well, yeah, I gotta be on keep my head on a swivel. It is what it is. But because I had family members that I brought into this world with my wife that are not capable of taking care of themselves, and I have a wife that doesn't look at the world the way she does today, but back then she just was like anything else. Back then we didn't have social media like we have it today. But she used to watch TV news all the time. Every time news would be on, she's watching it. And I'm like,
to give me a 5x5.
do you realize that nothing good just came off that fucking television? And you want to constantly come back to it? And then you start doing 10 o'clock news. Because 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock news wasn't enough. Now we got to get 10 o'clock. Because we got to prep you for the 11 o'clock news. And it's always bad, toxic shit. So I was always listening to, in the background, the terror threat's been raised from yellow to orange. That's what they used to do back then. They constantly were priming us to live in fear. And it worked on me. That was the weakest time of my life where I was allowing these assholes to convince me that impending doom was going to happen at any moment. And I was being indoctrinated. I was being brainwashed, like most people back then. And we just watched it now. There's still people driving the fuck around with masks by themselves with their windows rolled up in their car. What the hell's going on? And that's exactly what I told everybody on Twitter, this very app, in 2019. Watch what they're getting ready to do. And here you go. And it ain't done. We're getting ready to hit the real show. And I would be out of my mind with anxiety if I hadn't learned what I'm about to teach you. Everybody has stress. Everybody has stress. That's part of life. Jesus said you're going to have tribulation in this world, but not everybody's going to go through great tribulation. What happens if you have a bad day in the market? What happens if you have a bad day at your job, or you have a falling out in your relationship, and you have a trading account open with real money or a funded account or a funded account challenge open that you can trade and see results in? What happens if you have a bad day? What's the first thing you feel like you want to do? Men, I already know what you want to do. Ladies, maybe not so much this, but men, you want to push the button and fuck around and find out. You want to replace that, I just got canned at my job. I just got made redundant and let go. I just got a final written warning that if I do this or don't live up to this output and performance, I'm going to be given my walking papers and fired, terminated. You're stressed out now. Rightfully so. But chances are you probably didn't do the things I'm talking about in this Twitter space here today that could have mitigated all that by taking initiative, being responsible, owning it, and working towards progressing and being better. Because if you journal like this, you're going to find that it starts bleeding into your personal life, not just in trading. You'll find that you'll interact with people in a much more favorable and professional manner. You'll talk differently. Your vocabulary will increase. And it won't be quickly reached for toxic opinions. You'll look for reasons to talk about something good and positive because you realize the effect it has on you. So therefore, wow, I know if I talk to someone and I talk about all the positives that I can see in someone and say, hey, look, I see what you're doing. And I think that you are doing an amazing thing here. And I like how you did this. Have you ever considered this? And then you've encouraged them. You acknowledge what they did was right, and you encourage them. That's what goes on in our community. I don't see that happening in other people's community. I see a competitive, I got to be better, I got to stand out. I have a few of those in my group, and they're revealing themselves. I don't need to know what sex they are. I can tell what they are, the way they talk in their posts. They're toxic males. They want to be dominating, okay? And chances are they're probably being reckless in their trading. You can read a person very easily by watching what they put on social media. You can see their frailties. You can see their strengths. You can see how they think. And how they share their opinion about other people is a direct relationship to how they view themselves. Because they're projecting. Are you someone like that? Other people, it's a direct relationship to how they view themselves. You're always critical, talking to everybody else. Because you're thinking that if you do that, it eases everybody in our family. Because you're not in your journal telling yourself anybody was ever going to do well to improve upon. These are a frailty. I can see you doing it. I can literally see you. I have at the moment doing everything. How I'm going to fix it and work towards making it better or less impactful with the negative aspects. Can I learn that too? You're being responsible with yourself. You're cultivating a proper learning so much. You're removing all toxicity in the beginning. You're not inviting, cultivating all of it. I would have done so much. They are loved ones, even if they are your spouse. They're not going to see it the way you see it right now. Let them discover how much a success you really are when you get there quietly. Don't talk about it. Because if you're going to talk about it, you're using energy that could have been used to study. That's time that could have been used for studying and journaling. If it's good enough for you to say it before you live it, before you have it in your hands, if you're going to say it out loud, because you hear this people talk about, I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to speak it into existence. You're not God. Only one can do that. But you can self-talk and encourage yourself. But in trading, you do not do that in social circles. You don't do that. Don't do that. You channel that stuff right into your journal. And when you have a bad day, you have a toxic day, that's a day you don't trade. But that's not what you want to hear. ICT, I don't give a shit what you say. I need to feel good. You ever see the movie Monster Ball? Halle Berry, Billy Bob Thornton. There's a scene in there where she's lit and she's trying to basically be intimate because she just needs to feel good. And that's exactly what she says in the script. Come on, I want to feel good. She's crying. I want to feel good. That's exactly what all of you are doing inside. And you're hoping that trading, making money is going to fill that. I can tell you, it doesn't. It doesn't. Every successful, consistently profitable trader, if they're absolutely 100% honest, That's not where their sense of fulfillment comes from. It comes from the fact that they have a model that they trust, that they refined, that they worked towards, that they guarded, that they had faith in, that faith grew over time. And they journaled their progress and they refined it, where they are never tinkering with it. That means they're never trying to add something or take away something. They're content with that. And that is a sense of mindset that you can't put a price tag on that. Your job's not guaranteed. You're going to be there 5 years from now. You're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. Your profitable trade isn't guaranteed in your next transaction and you're clicking of the button. It's not guaranteed. But the folks that have a sound model that they've worked and refined, they don't obsess about that. They understand that every trade is a losing trade. That their skill set, that their faith-based model that they have groomed and they've isolated to this is all I'm going to look for. This is all I'm worried about. This is the time I'm focusing on trading. I'm not in there all day long trading. Again, that's somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? You're inviting the rate of failure exponentially. Get in there more than you should when you don't know what the hell you're doing. Wrong. Surgeons, doctors, they're specialists. Everybody that goes through med school are not proctologists. But in trading, everybody on social media is a fucking proctologist. They got their finger in everybody's ass sniffing, what did you have for lunch? They're in everybody's fucking business. Surgeons, they're brain surgeons, they're heart surgeons. They're orthopedic surgeons. They specialize. They went through the same schooling, but then branched off and said, this is what I'm doing. What did they do? What did they do? Do you think that they were fucking journaling and studying feet? If they're going to be a brain surgeon? They want to know everything about the foot and the anatomy, the nerve endings of a foot when they're studying the brain or the heart or any other, a gastric surgeon. No. They reduced their focus in on one specific task. Their model as a surgeon is that they have to know exactly how they're going to cut and engage the human body for the purposes of helping this particular part of the human body heal. The outcome is, if that trade, if we want to personify it that way, it's profitable if the patient is improved and gets to live longer and a more fulfilling life. And the ailment they came in to have addressed gets corrected by the surgeon's model being applied to that body. We don't go to a general practitioner when we need surgery. We may need to initially get a recommendation, like here, I'm going to recommend you go to this surgeon here. But they're not doing the cutting. They're just doing a genuine evaluation. We don't need that here. As a trader, you're that. You're the CEO. You're the CFO. You're the person that gets fired when you blow the account. You're the person that has to do fundraising to start it up again. It's everything. You incorporated. That's what this is. And you're saying that you're not interested in journaling? When every corporate enterprise has some measure of doing that same KPI measurement. KPIs, they're performance measurements. How well you're performing. What's your output? What's the results of those output? And if you don't do that with yourself, the enterprise that you daydream about yourself being, this super rock star riding around on Lear jets, driving cars that are too expensive, oil change cost too much, and nobody gives a shit after 2 days of looking at it. Oh, yeah, who cares? You're expecting people to love you because you have something that they can't afford. How long do you think that lasts? It doesn't last long. Then there's animosity. So you're inviting the opposite. You're inviting it. You're inviting all the wrong things versus You don't ever wear your wealth on your sleeve. You're content with how you live a simple life. If anybody looks at me on the outside, they would never know that I live an affluent lifestyle. They would never know it. I don't want people, especially today, I don't want to be out in public wearing a $45,000 watch anymore. I don't want to do that. Get busted upside the head. I can't look at every minute around my surroundings. Someone's going to ask me a question. I'm going to do something. I'm going to reach for a door, and I'm going to get busted in the head, and the $40,000 watch is now theirs. But you see these 20-year-olds out there, and they're doing all this flashy stuff. And things are getting hard. And what are they doing? They're inviting the mindset that says, you know what? I can't get what you have. How often they mention you on social media? They're always talking about me, and it's stupid. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I just want to be like everybody else. That's all I want, and I can't be that anymore, and it bothers me. You want to believe that I love being looked up to and worshiped. I don't want to be worshiped. I just want people to say, hey, what's up, Michael? How you been? That's it. I don't want to be looked up at, and I won't let anybody look down. That's how I carry myself. I live my life just like that. And some of you are doing this, trying to refine your future self, so that way you can be some kind of character online, some kind of influencer, some kind of celebrity. And you might be. And you might do things differently. You might be well-rounded, down-to-earth person. That'd be great. That'd be a very wholesome thing to see. I would be a fan of that. That's what I'm trying to cultivate. But don't let it get twisted. That same person is still going to have confidence through the fucking roof. And if they're honest and they're asked, hey, how do you feel about trading this? That you ever have any anxiety about trading? No. No. There isn't a trading day out there that I can't walk out there and say, I'm going to take this and I'm leaving with it and you can't fucking stop me. Now think about that. That sounds unheard of, right? But I'm demonstrating that in live streams. I'm showing you where it's going to go to, and that's the beginning building blocks. But if you take these case studies where you simply watch price action, and you don't know in your present state, if you just began to learn how to do this stuff, you don't know where it's going. You're guessing at everything that's going on, and you're trying to apply an indicator or somebody else's logic while I'm talking about what price is going to do. And what I'm telling you it's doing it. And you're not retaining anything except for, I didn't get anything from this. When I see comments and I leave a post on my community post on my YouTube channel, I'll say, what did you learn in this live stream? I usually got about 3 or 4 people that say nothing. And I block them. I'll never see their comments again because that's a fucking idiot. Okay? If you ever left that, I want you to know I'm calling you an idiot. You're a fucking idiot because I'm laying down things that if you're paying attention, they repeat every day. So to me, you're a joke. Anybody that says that they're not getting anything from it simply is an idiot. Or you're just a hateful piece of shit that has all of this attention placed on what I'm teaching in our community, and it's overshadowing you. And you're just trying to poke and be vindictive. And it's sad. You don't need to do that stuff. You're not going to change me. You're not going to stop other people from wanting to learn this. The cat's out of the bag. It's a phenomenon now. It's global. And all I want to do is ask your permission collectively as a community is just let me step down like a CEO. I don't want to be the face. I just want to hey, look, I'm thankful that Michael released this stuff, but stop trying to make me a celebrity all the time. I don't want that. I do want to see who comes up out of all this, and I want to see them, whether they be male or female, to do it better than I did. That means don't have all these chest ups to other people. I do it for fun. I did it for marketing initially because it was all upside for me. I simply wanted to go out there and draw a crowd. So I knew either one, I would be entertained by it, or the social experiment that I started on Baby Pips was going to produce something. And while I do have students that are profitable, I don't have an ICT 2.0. And that's what I wanted to see. Because the things I taught initially, the old stuff, where I was talking about support resistance, where I was talking about indicators and MACD and this and stuff, That's exactly how I started. So I was producing the same climate, the same environment, in the same order that I went through to see if I could create that same magic that happened at who I am today. And it was unfortunate that I was hoping it was going to happen, but nothing happened like that. I have profitable students. I have wildly profitable students, but I don't have an ICT 2.0. And I'm hoping that Caleb will allow me, if he listens to me, he'll have the greatest advantage of doing it. But there's no guarantee. Everybody has their own problems that they have to wrestle with. I don't know. I'm not inside my son's head. I don't know if he's going to have, he's had a bout of anxiety one time when he had a job at, I don't know where he was, but he clammed up, just couldn't function, and they had to send him home. It was just simply an anxiety attack. But you don't want to go into the marketplace looking for a feel-good replacement for generalized stress. Generalized stress is you had a rough day at work, you got a flat tire, you had a blowout in your relationship, a fight, you hurt yourself, you got sick. All these things are triggering. They make you want to do something other than what you're feeling at that moment. Men are usually very, very quick to jump in here and I need to feel good about something. And our currency in the world, we think is, I gotta look stronger. I gotta look faster and more formidable and scary to the rest of the guys. I gotta be intimidating. No, you don't. No, you don't. I watched some joker leave a post when I had put the invitation to come to this Twitter space. He said, somebody find that video where he said he's never going to do another Twitter space, and he was crying. I love the fact that your little dick energy thinks that that's some kind of a fucking character flaw. I ain't seen anybody else out there that was open enough to show their real emotions. Because I've went through shit that would break your fucking bitch ass. You would never be able to go through what I went through. So put up them videos. The only thing that's going to do is show people that I give a fuck. I give a fuck. I'm not out here panhandling, buy my $200 course, buy my $300 fucking course, repackage this, repackage that. I'm laying down a lifetime of wisdom for free. And I already know it works. And I have students all around the world that are using it, and it's helping them. And they're going to learn how to balance themselves better today, how to focus on things and not try to use the economy of replacement approach of taking a bad day, feeling anxiety, feeling sick, I had a bad day at work, or I didn't get the promotion I was expecting, something that just doesn't give you a feel-good, sense of accomplishment. Men will go into the trading account and try to do this and replace it with winning money. And it need only be $100. Hey, it's $100. I feel better today. I mean, $100. I can go out there and I can make $100. That's better than walking down the street and finding a $100 bill in front of you, right? I mean, who's going to look at that $100 and say, man, fuck you, I ain't picking you up. But in men's eyes, we think that, hey, I know how to trade. And yes, I hate my fucking job. And yes, my girlfriend's mad at me because I didn't remember our birthday as a relationship, our anniversary, whatever it is you call it. Men, try to find a way to anchor your marriage on a day that you will never forget. And that's why I chose Valentine's Day. I know it's cliche. I know it's kind of like boring, but guess what? I generally don't do well with remembering dates. Like, I love my kids, but sometimes I have to ask my wife, when were they born? And she gets mad if I don't know their weight or what time they were. Women will never forget that shit. But that's why they're helpmeets for us. They have that capacity where we are the go out and get, and they are the stay home and keep. And that's why they're better traders. You don't want to change that composition as a female. And I know some of you out there think that there's more than two sexes, and don't leave me the bullshit because I'm just going to block you. I haven't blocked anybody since I've been back here, but if you give me that bullshit woke stuff, I'm blocking. I don't give a fuck what you think, okay? But there's a male and there's a female. And in trading, the females are better traders. Because if they have that nesting approach, as they are as women, they don't take crazy risks. They want to keep what they have, and if they can get more, They're trusting their other half to do that. That's the relationship. That's what's been torn down. Men, we think that we have to be fucking Superman and we got to go out and do more than what's necessary. And you bring that same misguided logic to your trading. I got to do more than this other guy did. I got to do more than I did yesterday or I'm not progressing. I got to replace this bad feeling. I'm going to probably get canned. I'm probably going to get fired. My girlfriend saw this other guy's car. We were out on a date and I kept watching. She was looking at his car. She probably would go out with him if he gave her the time of day. I got to really, really do well. I got to do fast. I got to impress her. If you feel that way about that woman or that man, you're probably with the wrong person. Because if they're not constantly telling you, you know what? I am happy that I have you. And you don't need to do all these other things because the time that you spend with me, I feel fulfilled doing that. Gentlemen, ladies, if you find that, you are rich. You will have the fertile ground that builds a legacy of wealth because chances are they're not going to want to leave you. They're already with you and you have nothing. And if you build this up in front of them and you allow them to be a source of encouragement, not in the way that we were talking about earlier, where, hey, this is what I think I'm going to do, and you expect them to encourage you. They're not going to see technical analysis. They're not going to see trading and speculation. Any losing trade, a female is going to be like, is this the beginning of financial turmoil? Because they're nesting. Their capacity as a human is to protect what is theirs. They don't want to upset the household. They don't want to upset the family element. They want to keep peace. Men, we get out there and we try to tear shit up because we feel like we got to be Godzilla, stomp down on everything. Don't fuck with me and my family. That's the way it is. And we can laugh about it or we can look at it and say, oh, this is stupid. This guy's giving dumb analogies. But this is the facts. Women are better because they think that way. How do they mess up? When they try to be a man. When they try to do things like a man, go out there and do more than necessary. Compete. Be competitive. I want to do better than this so-and-so. And there's some toxic females on social media. You'd think they had a penis. Bigger sack than most men. Walking around talking bullshit. More foul-mouthed than I am sometimes. They're compensating. They're compensating. And some of them, if I could be honest and you give me the liberty to be able to say so, some of them are actually very attractive. And you would think, why would you even act the way you're acting? Like, you're literally a beautiful person on the outside, but you're ugly as fuck in the inside, and you're producing that from the things you speak and how you behave. So all these things are outside influences that are going to cause you to derail yourself. But you won't recognize them unless you journal them. When you place a microscope over every decision you're making and every thought that you have, when you have these things under the microscope of a journal and you constantly encourage yourself through positive self-talk, that means if there is something that happened bad, that was an adverse response to something you did or indirectly didn't do at all, it just happened to you, like a car accident. You didn't want this truck to hit you, but you couldn't avoid it. You were sitting at a red light and they hit you. And that's a bad day. That sucks. But you couldn't have done nothing to avoid it. That's manual intervention. That's the same thing happens when you're in a trade. Everything looks like it's there and then bam. What the hell just happened? Well, you got a taste of it. Does that mean trading, throw it out the window? No. It just means that that's why you have to have a stop loss. That's why you shouldn't over leverage. Period. Now, how's that for logic versus going out there, having no idea what's going on, putting money into an account to discover that you don't know how to trade, and now you have compounded difficulty because you lost your $100 account because you have to learn with real money. If you want to spend $100 so badly, go out there, drive around town, and find somebody that's homeless and stick that $100 bill in their fucking hand and say, you know what? Have a good day. Have a good day and get something to eat. Because you're going to have a better feeling about that than you losing that $100 discovering that you just gambled it away. And you created scar tissue as a developing student and as a trader. You now have to go through the process of digging through that painful, I got bad experience now. I have
Fantastically
adverse
disappointed
response to me making
with the
these decisions
quality
with
of
real
the
money. And
stream that we
yes, it was
have
$100.
on
And when I put
X.
it in the account, I knew if I
Fantastically
lost it, it shouldn't have
disappointed.
bothered me. But guess what?
The way things are
When it goes down
dropping,
to
the
$25 or
quality
if it
of the
goes down to $50,
audio,
you're
things
fucking
just
sick to your stomach.
unfortunately feel
I should have
like
never
on
did
these
this. I'm
spaces
mad.
they
I
are
got to get it
somehow
back. And what have
degrading.
you done? You've evolved
Yesterday,
into a gambler, and you're trying to do what? Replace negative with a victory that's not assured to you. And you're doing it with a clouded mind. You're doing it under stress. You have no idea how to calm yourself
The
down.
contrary
You have
is
no
to
idea to
that,
come
the
out
very
of
first
that
formation of
negative,
that.
toxic thought
It's useful information.
that you have to have it back
Appreciate
right now.
And
Why?
yeah, I'm gonna hit the
Why do you
study
need to
button for
have that
K.
loss back right now? Because you think that you are less of a person, less of a trader, you're a failure as a trader if you can't get it back right away. And that is grade A bullshit. That's bullshit. Who told you that? Who told you that you have to win that back right now because you just lost it? Nobody. But it's in your fucking head. It's in your head that you think that that's exactly what every profitable trader can do. They take a losing trade and they get it back real quick before the end of the day. That is bullshit. That's not how it works. That's how you go on tilt. That's how you blow your accounts. That's how every time I blow an account, that's exactly how it happened.
Your next transaction.
I gotta fix this. I feel less of a man. I feel less of a trader. I don't feel profitable. I don't feel capable.
The folks that have
I'm not going to be successful unless I can do this. Get it right back the same day. I got to do this or I can't be successful. This will define my ability to be successful or not. If I can't get that loss back right now, I can't be successful. That's exactly what you're lying to yourself with. You're lying to yourself with that. And you believe the bullshit. You're believing it. And that is causing scar tissue. You have no idea how much harder you're making it when you place these types of constraints on yourself. You're placing much more workload on your back than is necessary to be a trader. You have no reason to think that way. Zero. But it feels right when you're doing it, and it's the wrong perspective. When you're learning and you do things wrong, and it's an adverse reaction and response, you take it home. You take it home like an orphan, like a stray dog, and you nurture it and say, you know what? It didn't work out well today. You look hungry. You need to be bathed. You need to be nurtured a little bit. And you talk positive to it. Say, you know what? I'm going to use you to feel good by doing the right things, not feel good by taking chances and gambling to fix you as a trade. I'm going to go home and teach myself that you aren't going to take me out. You're not going to break me if I have to feed you, stray animal. I can afford to give you a meal and clean you up and find you a good home or keep you as mine. How do you keep a losing trade? Doing the right things, not emotionally, not psychologically imbalanced and going, I got to do it right now, fix it. You come out of that drawdown with less risk that you did when you took the loss. What does that do? Number one, it prevents the likelihood of you having this toxic mindset about going in and fixing it right away. What do you think it feels like when you do it by risking less money and you get that loss back? It feels real good. Because now, with half the effort, half the risk, you can recover and mitigate that loss. How about that? But what happens if you take another losing trade because maybe you're still scared and it's hurt your feelings and hurt your pride, your ego is bruised? You have to hurry up and fix it because someone's going to ask you about your results. Or worst case scenario, you're making your results public. You have now compounded the difficulty of trading to unbelievable levels. A lot of people can't trade under that kind of pressure. It will prevent you from finding success because you're afraid of the outcome for the purposes of having other people's opinion placed on you. And a lot